With the NTT INDYCAR season kicking off next weekend on the streets of St. Pete, the final seat on the grid has now been taken. After losing his seat at Ed Carpenter Racing, Rinus VeeKay has a new home. He'll drive the number 18 Honda for Dale Coyne Racing for the full season. VeeKay got his first taste of DCR last October when he participated in an off-season test at Indianapolis, and he also got time in the car earlier this week at the Sebring pre-season test. He said it makes him proud to see his name among the drivers competing in IndyCar for a 6th consecutive year, and he feels delighted to end the winter with this news. The photo courtesy of Dale Coyne Racing. I hope Dale's okay there with the plaster on his head there. I slipped up the stairs a few days ago and knocked the old noggin and scraped the leg as well. I don't ask how somebody falls up the stairs. I still don't know how I did it either. But in the past, we've seen drivers overachieving with this team and end up giving a more competitive seat with a different team as well. Can Rinus VeeKay sort of do the same and just sort of show us what we all know he can do?
I feel like he can. I think I mentioned it when we said he wasn't getting back with Ed Carpenter. Too good to be left on the sideline, Rinus VeeKay. We've seen some impressive runs from him on both the oval and the road course at Indianapolis over the last few years, especially, and some other results elsewhere. And I think he'll be a great fit for that team. Doesn't bring the massive budget that some other drivers perhaps might do, but sometimes you've got to take the fastest guy in the room. And Dale Coyne has done that. He's obviously worked some avenues of funds to get this deal done. And good to see the Dutchman back on the grid and perhaps with a point to prove after losing his seat with ECR at the end of last season.
Yeah, I think Rinus VeeKay definitely is going to have a lot to prove, especially to his old Ed Carpenter Racing team. And we know, in years in the past, Rinus VeeKay had an opportunity, to go elsewhere, probably to a better team, but he decided to stick around and, stay loyal to Ed Carpenter Racing, and he was hoping to keep that seat into this year, but unfortunately, things didn't work out that way, and they ended up going, with Alexander Rossi and Christian Rasmussen for the full season. That left VeeKay on the sidelines. It's not ideal, announcing your plans literally, like 1-2 weeks before you're about to start the season. But this is traditionally when Dale Coyne gets his driver lineup together right before the season, and it's also good that VeeKay has had time in this car before. You mentioned Josh last year, October at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, to meet Dale Coyne, and to prove himself to the team then, and then the preseason test that just happened in the last couple of days at Sebring. That was also very important for him to start meshing with the team once we got the deal confirmed and all of that. But I would not be surprised if Rinus VeeKay continues to trend the drivers at Dale Coyne Racing who outperform the equipment and then end up earning an opportunity elsewhere. And in recent memory, I can think of some drivers who were at Dale Coyne Racing and ended up moving on from Dale Coyne from this team. One that comes to mind, David Malukas. He overperformed with this organization, and then he signed with Aaron McLaren, who he actually never got to race for because he ended up, I believe, breaking his wrist, and then and then a whole bunch of other things happened like that. Got with Myra Shank, and then had to sign with AJ Foyt Racing, and so it worked out for David Malukas there. So I saw Roman Grosjean when he entered the IndyCar Series. He started with Dale Coyne, really overachieved it, got a big opportunity with Andretti Global, and then the multi-time IndyCar champion, Alex Palou. He started off his career with Dale Coyne Racing. Look where he is now. He has multiple Astor Cups, and he's won quite a handful of IndyCar races. So there's been a lot of drivers who started off their career with Dale Coyne Racing and end up being perfectly fine in the NTT IndyCar Series long term. And other drivers I'm thinking of, Santino Ferrucci was also at Coyne, and so was Sebastian Bourdais as well. So history shows if you can shine with Dale Coyne Racing, maybe just maybe you'll get a bigger team knocking on your door. And I think that can potentially happen for Rinus VeeKay. And as I mentioned, while he was at Ed Carpenter Racing, bigger teams looked at him, but he chose to stay loyal. I think this time around, if a bigger team comes knocking, Rinus VeeKay is probably going to open the door, answer, and serve them dinner.